I think when you say the word entrepreneurship, a lot of people think of a startup, oh, I'm gonna do my own company, a tech startup. But for me, what's really important is that entrepreneurship is a mindset, a way of thinking and acting. And it's really focused on the ability to create value. Like John was saying, what value does this create? Why would someone buy it? And you could create value by doing one of two things. And it's really only one of two. One is solving a problem for someone, and the other is providing some kind of benefit that they really want. And usually, to me, that entrepreneurial mindset is focused around opportunity. Your ability to recognize an opportunity, to analyze it, and then to capture it by doing something, again, to get someone to part with $1. And I like that Pace's motto is opportunitas, opportunity. I think nothing's more synonymous with entrepreneurship than opportunity. So whatever you go into, whether you do a startup, which is fine, or work with a startup company, or even if you're at a big company like IBM, that ability to be able to solve problems and create value is so critically important. I had a speaker from IBM in my class last night, and he just talked about that. We have to think of ourselves as providing solutions for customers. So whether, I like to think I'm an entrepreneurial professor, whether you go into government, nonprofit, anything, that ability to think entrepreneurial is, to me, really important. The other thing I wanted to, briefly focus on, and we didn't rehearse this, I'm glad John talked about that, an app or technology, too often, you think about the app, I want to have a cool app, or I want to use this technology or something. It's not about you. It's not about your technology. It's about solving a problem or providing a benefit for a customer. So just think about that. And we have these business model canvases and all that stuff. I want to speak very briefly, but what I would say is, this is just one tool. At the very center is what value are you creating is the most important, and the next thing is for various customer segments. So really try to think about that, and to put it simply, put yourself in the customer's shoes. And it's really hard to answer these three questions, and this is what I have almost all my classes do. One, who exactly is the customer? I'd like to think I know who the customer is, and sometimes it's just your own personal experience. But when you're doing something new, a new product in a new market, a new industry, you don't know who the customer is. And what exactly is their problem? You may think you know what your problem is, but maybe they have a different problem, or would use it in a different way. And lastly, does your solution, your app, your product, your service actually solve the problem? Like, even if you found the right customer and you found the right problem, it's very hard for you to be honest if it actually does solve the problem. And when you think about that problem, those three things, who's the customer, what's the problem, does it solve it, is remember with that problem, is it a big problem that they really want to solve and they have the means to, the money, the budget, the time? So just really think about that. Remember, it's, as politely say, it's not about you or your technology. Just keep thinking of the customer. A business model is, how do I deliver value to a customer and make money doing so? You don't have to worry about the make money doing so. And I just thought I'd give some, very quick examples of people that created apps here. One guy, he sat in this corner every day, Kumesha room again. He was a public accounting major, graduated a few years ago. He created this web app and function here in the lab. He pitched it at the pitch contest. Last year he was named Forbes 30 under 30, and his company has a valuation of over $100 million, and he's got a dozen PhDs on his staff. But when he created it, it was all about what the customer needs. When he went to demo it, they kind of wanted to rip it out of his hands, like, we'll take it, we'll buy it, can we get a beta? Can we trial it? Can we get an exclusive? Now that year he won third place in the pitch contest. The person who won first place came up with an app to do a monthly subscription for stock news. You can see her picture over here, SureStock. Really bright girl, but she never really knew her customer what the problem is. If you watch the opening of her pitch, again, nothing against her, she won first place. She says, stockings, this is all a problem that all women have, and it's difficult to get stockings. So she missed her customers. That's not all women. I mean, we have women here, a lot of them don't wear stockings. And it turned out not to be as a big a problem as she thought. And let me say that the last one was a cool one done here called Look at You. And they made an app like for people getting, dressed in the morning and don't have time. They're going to scan everything in their wardrobe, and this app will, with the weather and everything else, will tell you what to wear to save time. So one of my assignments is customers to go out and actually talk to potential customers. And when they talk to them, this is the last story, they found something really interesting, like the women who took public transportation were more interested than the women who drove to work. Like, why would that be? Couldn't guess, but it turned out that it was because, well, women that take public transportation are on a tighter schedule. Then if women who drive to work, if they go 5 minutes later, it doesn't matter. If you're catching a train, it does. Like, who would have thought of that in the customer problem? How did these students even know to ask, how do you get to work? Well, the reason was they were, talking to humans, talking with the customer, trying to get to know their life. But I don't think, is it a big problem? Do you have the means to solve it, all that? When it came to that, it's a cool app, but they said, listen, I'm not gonna photograph and enter every piece in my wardrobe. I have another way to solve the problem. I didn't think of this either, but we'll just lay out our clothes the night before, if it's a problem. So all I'm trying to say is really try to think about that problem. If you want, as you have from 11 to 5, my office is just, you go out the door, the first door on the right. Anybody who comes up with the idea that wants to just pop in, I'm here all day doing nothing else. So if you just want to take a minute and say a customer idea, any thoughts, again, I'm not going to do the layout or whatever, but there may be something. Someone did an app like, oh, for tourists in New York, what do we do? And they had all these activities, but someone said, well, when we went out and talked to customers, they said, well, I would need a filter like family activities or with the weather. Like if it's raining and I want to do an indoor activity with a family, how do I filter for that? If not, it's of no use to me. So little things. And then so I'm there, I'll happy to talk to you for a minute, for a half hour, whatever you want. And the very last thing that I'm sure John will mention is the 3 winners from this first, second, and third place, aside from getting some cash, have automatic entry into the Pace Pitch Contest on April 23rd. This is the 16th year we're doing it, so also keep that in mind. So again, thank you for trusting that we'll deliver value on a Friday and giving up the entire Friday just before midterms. And thanks again to John, Hake, and Carmine for making this happen and for them giving up their day to help you guys. So I'm here, good luck, and I'll see you throughout the day and at the end when you present and we pick some winners.
Thank you.